Hello, Candice.
Hello, Amanda.
Hello, Rebecca. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm a little bit tired.
You are a bit tired today.
A little bit. I think I'm going to blame the weather.
Because very rainy.
Yeah, it's like real like gloomy and like a bit humid, I think.
Yeah.
Is it a bit?
I would say
yeah,
it's
it's like
humid.
a bit humid. So like it's hard to like breathe.
We've had lots of lessons this week about humidity. I didn't know all this time because I am very sensitive. Like I feel like I can feel it change, and like my fucking hair, like I can just feel it. And I've always said it to you and you've been like, yeah. And then
Like it's hot.
I remember when we were in Wollongong for Duck last year, I was talking about it again and you were like, I don't know what you're talking about. I do not know what you mean. And I was like, oh, whoa.
Yeah.
And then we've just talked about it lots this week.
Yeah. I don't think I understand what humidity is versus what
Hot
heat is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, yeah, when it's hot,
It's just sweaty.
and when it's humid, it's hot. So it is what it is.
Oh, well, we tried.
For me.
We tried hard.
I think, yeah, you're just more sensitive to humidity. I just feel heat.
Just sweat or no sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I will say, I think I felt it today
Yeah.
in the workout.
Yeah.
Mainly because it felt like I was having a shower whilst doing box jump overs.
Yeah.
So I think I noticed that then.
Got it. Nailed it. I love whenever we tell someone this story, they try to explain it to you again. And I was like, and you're always like,
I'm
I
always
fucking
just like,
know,
I
but I
know.
can't feel it.
Yeah, like you can say it 75 different ways, but it's what I feel or don't feel in this
Makes me
case.
laugh very much.
Anyway, so that's why I'm tired. I think it's because it's a bit gloomy
Yeah.
and
Bit
humid.
humid. Bit humid. My question of the day, we're going to have to put a visual aid into this one, Bex. On this little picture, it's a picture of toast, all the different types of toast, all the different colorings of toast. And, oh, God, I would like to know which one is your favorite.
Okay.
So when we put the picture up, it'll be 1 through to 9. There's 9 options of toast.
Okay. Give me this phone. Let me see the toast. Okay. Do you want to guess what I am?
A 1 or a 2.
I'm a 3, I would
Okay.
say. I'm a 3. So or maybe a 2 to 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Like just a little,
It's just like microwaved.
but like just a tiny bit crunchy on the
Okay,
outside. That's
okay.
the only difference between microwave. I do like microwave bread too, but that's different. I'm going to say you're a 5 or a 6.
Can I check? I didn't even look at mine. Ooh, I think a 6 is a bit much. I'd be a solid 5, I think.
A solid 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you made toast and it came out 7, 8 or 9.
Done.
Would you
Wouldn't
throw it in the
eat it.
bin?
Yeah.
Would you like scrape it off and try?
No.
Or nah, be cooked. Done.
Yeah. No chance. It's just
Interesting.
burnt. It just tastes burnt
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
What about you? Would you eat it?
No, no way.
Yeah. Like anything that's got like,
I reckon above a 6.
yeah, any kind of like charcoal coloring,
No deal.
no deal.
No deal.
Don't want to be about it.
So we would love to know, what is your favorite
Toast.
color when we figure
And
out how
then
to
do you
that?
like set it on the toaster or do you just pop it when it's been in there for how long you think?
Well, I'm pretty impatient, so I rarely let it go all the way.
And
to
then
the
you
end.
just like put
Yeah.
it down again?
Yeah, but then I often forget about it. So,
So you do get 8 and 9s
yes.
and then you throw them away?
Yeah. I do.
That's funny. I have it set. I don't
So
know what
like you've just figured out what it needs to be on.
Yeah, but
I should
then
probably do
I think it changes based on the weather.
What?
I think it does. I reckon. I think. I could be wrong, but I think based on how hot it is outside, like in the outside world,
Hot or humid?
hot. Based on the actual
I'm
temperature,
so glad we've got this on camera.
as I'm saying this, I'm like, fuck, this could be very wrong. I think based on the outside temperature, your bread is a different temperature before it even goes in the toaster. So if your bread is like 20 degrees, because that's what the weather is, versus 30 degrees, I think it toasts more
Okay.
because it's in there for longer.
And so what? Okay, is the toast dial like an amount of time, or like how? What is that?
Well, it has to be.
What is it
Toast
measured as time?
Well, it can't be like...
And it's
It
like
doesn't know how long it's been toasted.
But is like one minute, or is like is it the same amount of time for every setting, and then it just like toastiness goes up? You know, like
well, these are all questions I don't know. I don't have the answer to. But it doesn't know. It's like, oh, this is number 3. I better pop it out now.
No, but like a heat setting, I mean.
Nah, it's
Like
got to
it's
be
all
time.
2 minutes, but it's just a different heat setting.
I don't feel intelligent right now, but it's got to be time. It's got to be.
Someone needs to test this theory. Do it tonight.
Well, I don't want toast tonight. I don't want to eat
might.
toast.
You might.
I reckon it would be. We'll test it, but I'm going to say it's time.
Timed. Okay, and then is every toaster different?
Fuck. All I know is our toaster was like $20 from Kmart,
Okay.
so probably the good one.
I feel like
test
there's
out.
no consistency with that. Probably it's just like you get what you get.
It's just like, here's your dial. Whatever you think.
What the fuck you think? Oh, funny. Okay, that's not what.
Do you
Yeah, do you have the answer?
Oh, we got a fucking
Producers on.
fact checker, mate.
Go, Bex,
Let's
what
go,
is it?
Baxter.
The numbers on the toaster regulate how long the bread is going.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's always the same temperature. It's just a time. Oh, no.
The
No.
dial
She's backtracking.
controls how much electricity goes through the switch.
Oh.
So that means the electricity goes up.
Yes.
I don't know if everyone can hear her because of the microphones are very sensitive, so they might not even pick up on her. But she said, what did she say? The dial
The dial determines how much electricity
comes
goes
through.
into the toaster. Okay, we're
Maybe
gonna do
that's
some more
not
fact
Kmart.
checking on that.
That's not Kmart toasters. I reckon the Kmart
That's like the
toasters.
Russell and Hobbs ones from Harvey Norman.
Yeah.
Kmart's just like, hope this doesn't trip your house.
Yeah, more people are saying there is no timer mechanism in a toaster.
Okay, so some are
so
saying
there's
there's
no
no
time.
mechanism.
The level of toast.
Okie dokie. Well, if anyone has any more information on that, I'd love to know.
That question of the day went out of hand.
It's okay.
We
It's what we're
have
here
many
for.
more. We have more questions from that question of the day.
Answered nothing.
What are we talking about today, though?
What we're actually talking about, I feel like we need to call this like the frequently asked questions episodes or something. Questions that we get from members, or like not even questions, just like statements we hear all the time that we're gonna talk
I would say
about.
it's this episode is something we're probably both very passionate about.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it often comes from people who are new to the gym and they've maybe trained a different way before coming here, or they've come from another CrossFit gym that maybe programs quite differently to the way that we program. And I'd say we are very traditional CrossFit, like
Very aligned with the methodology
Yes.
of what it is.
yes, and we follow CAP programming, which is from CrossFit HQ. So it is different,
Yep.
I think. And lost my train of thought, but here we are.
Here we are.
Yes, people wanting to do more basically. So
Yeah.
they come into the gym from those different backgrounds, and then they see that we on the board only have written a 10-minute AMRAP, and they're like, oh, like we're spending a whole hour just for a 10-minute workout. This is stupid. This is pointless. I need more.
Yep.
So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, you nailed it. Like whether it's coming from like a different like brand or chain of fitness, or just your regular Globo gym, like a lot of people, and yeah, if you were to ask people on the street, if you were to survey a bunch of people on the street, and we like who's fitter, someone who does 3 hours of training a day versus someone who does a 1 hour class, obviously they're going to say the person who would be fitter is the person who does more.
Yes.
I think most people would just think that, and that's not necessarily
Incorrect.
true. Based on what CrossFit is and the methodology and the reason why it works, it's all based on intensity. And there are things that come before intensity, which we'll also talk about. But the beauty behind it and what it is and what it means, and if you've done any open workout correctly, you will know that intensity is king.
Yeah.
It's where you get fitter.
Absolutely. And I think people who are saying that obviously haven't done it before, or they don't understand that premise, because I'm just thinking back to the workouts we've had this week. We had one that sticks in my mind in particular. It was 6 rounds of a 2-minute clock. I have never seen so many people like cooked. Like after every single class that day, people were hanging around for 20 minutes to half an hour because they just worked so hard in that 2-minute window. But if you said to someone from the outside, today's workout only takes 12 minutes without the rest breaks, they'd be like, nah, easy. It's just a different beast when
Yeah.
you do it properly.
Yep.
Which is why it's so damn good.
Yeah, why it works.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? Why do you think people think more is better?
I I hate blaming social media for everything, but I feel like we have so much access now to what the professional athletes are doing. And even though what we see is not real all of the time, you know, it's just bits and pieces or whatever they're choosing to share, I think that people are under the impression that to be better, you need to do more, but forgetting that that is their full-time job.
Yeah.
And you are not ever going to be that, sorry, but it's not going to happen for most of us. And I think people are getting a little bit lost in the weeds of that, maybe.
So people are losing their way with what CrossFit, we were just talking to the CrossFit population now. People are losing their way with CrossFit, the methodology, versus CrossFit, the sport.
Yes.
And not just CrossFit, the sport, but CrossFit, the elite sport, which is what a lot of us fell in love with and loved watching and were like so impressed by. But like you said, it's their full-time job.
Yeah.
They're absolute freaks of nature.
And I think the thing, yes, they are, but when you watch them, it's a bit like, I could do that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like they make it look so good and so easy and so accessible that I think people get almost lured into this false sense of like, if I tried harder, I could be like that.
And because what they do is what we do, but they just do it faster, heavier, better, more. So I think you get lost in that pretty easily because you can do the same things that they can do, but just not as all of those things.
Yeah.
So I think that's why people get lost in it. But that same workout you were just talking about, I think I was around 2, 3 or 4, somewhere in the trenches of that workout, doing the burpees over the bar. So it was, what was
I
it?
didn't even say what it was.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
So it was 15 burpees over the bar into max cal row in remaining time of a 2-minute window with a 2-minute rest. And it was 6 rounds of that. So you're doing 15 burpees fast, because the faster you finish the burpees, the more time you're going to get on the rower. But obviously after 15 burpees, you're going to be cooked to get on the rower. So I was, around probably 3, 4 or 5, I think. And I was thinking as I was doing them, this should be people's goal. This class, like the class that I'm in right now, I do the 9:15 on whatever day that was. Monday? Was it Monday?
Yeah,
Tuesday? Whatever it was.
Tuesday.
I do the 9:15, and in that class, in that moment, I was like, this should be people's goal, to get 15 burpees over a barbell in a minute and then be able to get on a rower afterwards. That, like, if you can do 15 burpees on repeat with the row and like after rest and all the rest of it, like you're going to have a better chance at setting yourself up for the other stuff. Like, but it's not fun. It's not pull-ups. It's not rope climbs. It's not muscle ups. Like, people want to get all the fun, sexy stuff before the really grindy, intense. And like, same thing, like burpees are, they're still like, they don't look technical, but they're still technical enough that if you do them well, you can move faster and more efficiently. Like, being able to do a good burpee and get your feet all the way into your hands before you jump over the bar or before you jump up, whatever it is, like, that's not easy. And you have to think about it, and it's hard.
Yeah, and the more tired you get, the harder it gets, and the more
Yeah.
you have to think about it. And people, I think, don't put enough emphasis on that and don't understand how big of a thing that is in a workout. And then they're just like, oh, it's just burpees and rowing for 12 minutes. Like, anyone can do that.
Yeah. But not everyone can do it
well
and fast and intense. And it's like, it's not just, and that's another beautiful part of this program, is it's not just like, you're not just getting better physically, you're getting so much stronger mentally from a workout like that. If you can, 6 rounds is a shit number. Like, it's an ugly number. If you get to round,
like 2 rounds too many, I reckon. Like, ugh,
you get to round 3
gross.
and like, you've done half, but it doesn't feel like it. Like, you've got a whole, anyway. Yeah, that was a rant.
It's fine. So if someone, and I think the other thing, before I go into that, the other thing that people forget when they're like, oh, like, they might just look at the program that comes out on the day and be like, oh, it's just a 10-minute AMRAP, or we'll keep using that example, it's just 12 minutes of work. They forget about all the other stuff that goes into that hour. It's not just that 12 minutes we spend on the workout. It's all of the warm up and the movement prep and the mobility and the strategy and the teaching, like there's so much that goes into that hour, and there's so much that we put into that. You can't possibly recreate that when your program is full of volume. I don't think.
Absolutely. And I would say that's like, as a coach who leads several classes a week, when you're like doing the general warm up, so the first warm up of the day, and people are doing, I don't know, star jumps into Spidey, into Samson, into box step ups, and that all of those things don't look as intentional. Like, it's fair enough, first round you get like, you know, shake it out, get going. But if your step ups are not the same looking as your workout step ups, as in like you're not really thinking, that grinds me, hey, because that is not just preparation for today's workout. Every step up you do in your life is fucking training for step ups. Like it's, you know, like it's every single rep counts, not just the reps that you do in the 12 minutes of work. Every rep you do in the gym, whether it's in the general warm up, the specific, whatever it is, all of it counts, and it makes you better.
Yeah. And it's all part of the workout. I think people who say that to us forget that you're still getting better at stuff in all of those sections. And I can guarantee if you were just like, oh, I'll just do this from home today, or I'll just do it down at the local park or whatever, because there's no point going to the gym for that. I can guarantee you're not spending anywhere near as much time on prep and movement quality and all of the stuff that we would do in a class setting anyway. So you're missing stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So if someone came to you and said, maybe they were new to CrossFit and they came from the class that goes for 45 minutes at a different franchise, and they were like,
it's very specific.
I don't know if we're allowed to say names, but you know, a couple of things that I guess we would go through, and I think it's good stuff for members and anyone listening who does CrossFit to kind of check off and be like, are you getting the most out of your sessions while you're here? How consistently is this person training?
Yeah. So if they came from another gym, like we like it when people start training here with at least 3, and then the goal and the intention is to move to 5 or 6 eventually, whether that's in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months time. We want people to be moving almost all of the days of the week. That's the goal.
Yeah. And until someone's doing that consistently, you don't need anything outside of class. You don't need extra things. You just need to show up those 5 to 6 days and be able to perform intensity.
Yeah.
No matter what the workout looks like.
Yeah. And there's like, the other thing that we get, this is a bit off topic, but same.
Let's go there.
Let's go.
The
other thing we get is, I think people, when you just said you don't need extra, a lot of people will get into CrossFit and they're like, all right, I'm ready. I want to do additional weightlifting. It's like do 5 or 6 days worth of CrossFit and you will touch enough weight. Do this for like 12 months to 2 years of 5 to 6 days before you even think about adding in anything else. Like, you don't need to add in anything else. Same with gymnastics. Oh, okay, I really want to do extra gymnastics. You don't need anything else to get better. To get better at gymnastics, to get better at weightlifting, to get fitter, all of the things, everything you need is inside of a well-programmed 1-hour class, which we have.
I think we're done. That's it. Fucking mic drop.
I can't. It's in a,
we'll
it's in like
break
a
it.
little thing,
But yeah, like in it, like
It's
we were
all
saying
there.
before, if you put that intensity into your warm up and all of our movement prep, like we touch those things enough times in a week for you to be getting better.
Yep.
If you do it right.
Yeah.
So I just truly don't believe that people need extra stuff unless they are already performing with intensity all of the time when they're here.
Yeah. And when you say intensity, you're not just talking about the rowing and the burpees.
No.
We're talking about loading on the bar. We're talking about all the other variations of intensity, but it's essentially what you can do, the most amount of weight, speed, whatever you can do with like the correct mechanics consistently before you move intensely. But yeah, as long as you can move the best you can, add more weight.
Yeah.
Move. Can you still move that way? Add more weight. Oh, a little tiny breakdown. Try to fix that before you add more weight. Yeah.
And yeah, when someone can show us that they're doing that well, then maybe we'll give them some extra things to do. And we do have extra programming here. Like we have an add-on kind of like competitor stuff. But again, unless you're already training 5 to 6 days a week, there is no point. You're better off working harder in class and then making your goal to build that up over the next few months or whatever.
Yeah. I don't think I started doing anything outside of class for so long. I honestly don't think it was until you started training with me, I think. I don't remember.
Oh, we used to get up at
an offensive time of day to train.
I don't know how we did that.
I
don't know how you did that with a baby at home.
Stupid idiot. Just wanted to run away from my baby. She's just too noisy. Didn't want to be the first one to wake up with her.
The next thing that we would ask someone, so if they're coming to us saying, oh, that 10 minutes, it's just not enough stuff. I need more things. The next thing we'd probably touch on is sleep.
Did you see I posted something about that
last
night?
I fucking love that podcast.
I started listening to it again.
Oh, yeah.
Such a good podcast.
So good.
Joe Rogan.
Matthew
Walker. I think it's 1109.
Yeah, it's from like 2016 or 2018 or something.
He's done... So I had to scroll this through Spotify.
You've been sitting there for a while.
It took a while. He's done like over 1,000 more.
Jesus.
Yeah.
We got some work to do.
Yeah. I think we're up to episode 160 something.
Close.
But yeah, sleep.
Tell me, what have you learnt on your little podcast?
Oh,
so many
just
things.
How important it's like. It is, and as I was yelling at these two tired gals the other day, not naming any names, Kirby and Fleur, they both commented on it anyway. We were talking, they was just talking about like, a few niggles, this and that, and so much. Like I said to them, this is the secret. Like if you want to know the secret to feeling better, to having more self-control over what food you eat, to like your body feeling more functional, your brain feeling more on, you getting more like speed and power in your workouts, just generally happier. You need to be sleeping like 8 hours a night and not just like go to bed.
Like asleep for 8 hours.
You need to be asleep.
Which means probably 9 hours in bed, really.
Yeah. And, then there's always the comment, not saying these girls did commented, but like there's always the comments when you say this sort of stuff. It's like, oh, but I don't have time. You do. Like everyone does. It's just whether or not, unless you're a shift worker, don't fucking listen to us. If you're I'm sorry if you're a shift worker. That sucks.
A new parent.
Or a new mum. Don't turn this off. Turn this off right now. But for most of us that work a normal 40-hour work week with kids and goes to the gym, if you're spending more than 20 hours a week on your phone, bitch, you've got time. Look at your phone usage. I guarantee you've got time to sleep more. And then, as I said to these girls the other day, like, what are you doing to support your sleep? I'm not talking about supplements. I'm talking about the opposite, taking less, like having less caffeine closer to when you go to sleep. Less screen time before bed. Like creating that bedtime routine. What else? What have I missed?
Yeah. And just, like around that bedtime routine, making that really consistent and making it start early enough so that you're actually getting into bed with that and like with enough time to get your 8 hours of sleep. Like my bedtime routine takes so freaking long. Like I have to start it.
What is it?
Just
what do you forget and then sit move to different rooms?
Just like all my skincare stuff, getting my stuff ready for the next day. Probably before all that starts is getting my food ready for the next day. Just like that sequence of things. And it
happens the same thing every day.
Yeah, but if I am hanging out with Josh or doing some work for the business, and then you're 15 or 20 minutes behind, it makes a huge difference.
It really does.
When you actually get into bed.
Yeah. And I think the other thing, when you have a bedtime routine, it's not just helping you set yourself up for better sleep. It's helping you via association, smell associated, like with your skincare. Your body learns that it's like, oh, must be getting time to go to sleep because I can smell that smell. I can feel that like on my skin. So I think, it's It's like put yourself to sleep the same way you put a baby to sleep.
Yeah, like you have such a, I don't know, but I'm assuming you have a strict routine for kids. Yep. Do the same thing.
Yeah.
Get tucked in. Get someone to read your bedtime story.
Oh, fuck, I love
Turn
it.
off the lights.
Love it. Jono comes in and gives me a little cuddle and tucks me in. Love being tucked in.
And get the fuck off your phone.
Yeah.
I think that is probably the biggest problem.
And that, yeah, I think it feels so good in the moment just to lay in bed and be like, oh, and just scroll. It feels so warm and nice. It is not good for you. It is feels so good in the moment, but it is the worst thing you can do for your actual sleep quality.
Yeah. It feels like it's winding you down, but it is keeping your brain all the way awake.
Yeah. So even when you are asleep, the quality of sleep is zero.
Is bad. It's a bad time.
Zero, that's my scientific facts.
So yeah, I guess before you want to do more, before you look at doing more programming, sleep. Make sure you are sleeping at least 8 hours a night and recovering.
But in saying that, like if you're currently getting 5, just fucking aim for 6.
Yeah.
If you're getting 6, just aim for 7. Like just try and get everything better a little bit, because small improvements are better than no improvements.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where I think people get overwhelmed. They're like, oh, well, if I'm not even close to it,
Fuck it.
just won't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And it's not a badge of honor. Like, no, you don't get to say,
I used
I'm
to be
so
very
busy.
much like that.
Yeah. I
like
think society
getting up
makes us that way.
early. Like I used to be like, oh, like why would you sleep in? It's such a waste of time.
Yeah.
Like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I think it's because people go, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
Didn't.
you're gonna die 20 years earlier than everyone. No, I'm joking. Like you might.
Oh, right.
Not you. You better not.
No, I'll be fine. We have lots of old lady walking to do.
Yes, we do. Gonna be so leathery. We made out of leather by
We
then.
always joke that when we get older, we're gonna we'll just keep catching up every day, and we're gonna go for walks, coffee and walks.
Like I like walking now. You don't yet.
I don't love it yet, but that's okay.
It'll come.
You're gonna be so tanned and
Just
leathery.
leather. I won't be tan. It'll just be like
Just crinkle skin.
it'll just be one big freckle.
This girl loves a tan, and I am going to be so full of Botox and like every cosmetics procedure you can imagine.
Everyone's gonna be like, look at this mum and daughter walking along together.
It's going to be off.
But I'm gonna be so tan. I look like I'm actually from another country, so they won't think that.
Just an old lady and a young lady hanging out until they get too close. Oh God!
You be, hello. Can't move your face. Is she smiling? I'm not sure.
That's the plan. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about that.
I don't know
Okay,
either.
so let's go back through the list. Before you want to do more training,
Yes.
are you spending every second in the gym on getting better? Are you listening? Are you applying? Are you training 5 to 6 days per week in class consistently? Are you getting enough sleep?
What's next?
Next on my list, how's your stress?
Ooh.
I feel like, I'm sure it applies to every gym, but I feel like because we are a ladies' gym, women and stress go hand in hand.
We carry a high level of stress
We
around
do,
here.
we do.
Yeah, and I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think that, and I know everyone's different. Blah blah blah. It's all relative, but I feel like we get a lot of women in the busiest parts of their life.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
young mums and then returning to work, managing a household, a workplace, their own health can be very very overwhelming when you just had a baby and you got not getting much sleep and all the rest of the things. Or you're a shift worker who's got teenagers going through things. We carry a lot of different high levels of stress around these parts.
Yeah, and I was talking to someone today about just like the mental load that women carry around just day to day, like you guys with kids particularly, constantly like, what are we having for dinner? Oh, she won't eat that. What are we going to have instead? When do we have to go to the grocery store? Like, oh, we're running low on this. It's just a constant like, what's next? And that it doesn't feel like anything potentially at the time, but that over a period of time really adds up. And then we throw in all the other things like not sleeping well maybe, and yeah, just is a lot.
It's funny. I also had a conversation with someone today. I had a goal review and we talked about compartmentalizing all the time about the next thing and the other things and the other parts of my life. And I was like, that doesn't help you.
Yeah.
Like when and this is something that I had to do, I've talked about it before, when I had Callie, is it was a forced way to have to do that, because like you can't just be half on when you're like trying to keep a baby alive, a brand new baby. You got to be with that baby and be very present, especially when they start moving around. And then when you're at work, be at work. Don't think about your baby. Don't think about your dumb baby when you're at work. And then when
They're
you're
fine
training,
without you,
yeah,
I
they're
promise.
fine. Like they don't need you all the time. And then when you're training, just be in training. And I think a lot of people's stress rolls over, and it's amplified because they don't switch off from one thing to the next. Like when you walk in the gym, you can't do anything to help your kid for the hour you're at the gym. You can't do anything to help your work the next day become less. Like you're here, so just be here. Let you have that hour, because that will help you be less stressed for the other times and the other parts of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing to add to that. But women who aren't doing that well, which I would say is the majority of them, unfortunately, are then just burning themselves out. And because they're stressed, it just has a flow-on effect to everything. They're not training well, they're getting injured, they're not sleeping well, they're eating like shit. Like it just has such a big effect on every other aspect of their life. So I think, again, before you want to add more training, look at your intensity, look at your sleep, look at your stress levels. There is no point adding more stuff in if those things are not already at good levels.
Do you have, I don't have an answer to this, you might. Do you have a good way to, I just know from previous me, when I thought I wasn't stressed, I actually was. In hindsight, I'm not very good at seeing if I'm stressed in the moment.
And I always have to be like, hey,
Hey, do you think that maybe? I'm like, what? Just say it. What? What do you want?
how are you feeling?
I'm fine.
This is how the conversations go. Yeah.
Like for self-reflection, do you have any?
Can you remember what your things were in hindsight, or no?
Like when
we had those conversations, the things that you were like, oh, now that I've said that.
yeah. I get yes. Aside from like the autoimmune factors, like the body feelings, I would say I get a little bit snappy. Look at me, I've got my arms crossed now.
It's okay, do you want to hold it?
No, I don't. I get a little bit snappy at my family. Yeah, I can tell like my I've got like a shorter like temperament with Callie, especially. Like I feel like she pisses me off more easily. And I'm like, geez, she's a little dick lately. It's me. I'm just like,
she's the same.
Yeah, she's always been a little dick. No, I'm joking. I feel like I just got less of a threshold.
Yeah.
So that would be one. What else?
I think that was the biggest one.
Yeah.
And I think you weren't sleeping quite as well, and you weren't eating quite, like there was just like everything
it's just, like, piles
was
on.
together. Yeah. And I think when people feel like that, I don't know for sure, but I think they're like, okay, well maybe I'll do some more. I'll do more things to like make myself feel better. But again, speaking from your experience, like that doesn't help.
No.
Just piling onto the pile of shit is not going to make that pile of shit get any less.
And even if you think like those things are stress relievers, it doesn't, like more stuff is still more stuff, regardless of what that stuff is.
Yes, stuff is still stuff. We have got it written down, but we'll do a podcast on all of that, I think, like your kind of journey.
Fun. I'll sit here with my arms crossed the whole time.
Just like me,
yay. And I'll be like, what?
Feeling?
Just say it.
Just be like a little therapy session. So yeah, I think before you want to add more training in, have a look at your stress levels. Are you
ask your partner?
Yeah. Or am I being a dick? Are you actually coping with what?
Road rage. My road rage gets really high. And I start like yelling at people inside the car. Like,
they can't hear you, bros.
You're going to move over there like a fucking wanker. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? After you just go full, just full crazy.
And whenever I'd be in the car, I'd be like,
that's a good sign that I need to calm down. Just take something off my plate.
Yep. And then the last note I've got, so another thing that I would ask someone who wants to do
Sorry,
go.
one more thing. So for me, it's, I would say anger. For others, it might be tears. Like they might get upset. So maybe like if you're someone that's a little bit more like that way, if you're crying more, maybe you're more stressed.
Yeah.
I'm just a psycho.
Just mad.
Just mad.
Just a mad person.
Anyway, sorry.
Oh, fine. And then, before people if they want to add more training, the next and possibly the last question I would ask them is, how is your nutrition?
Oh, what? That matters?
So much.
so much.
It's, it's
I have
really
noticed
important.
since we just ran the 6 weeks? 6 weeks nutrition program here. And I've noticed several people from that program that did that with you and Nick, they, in their workouts at the gym, they have changed.
Yeah.
Like they have got, I was talking to someone about it the other day. I was like, oh my God, these snatches are so snappy. Yeah. She was like, it's nutrition. Like who would have thought that I needed.
Who would have thought?
Someone who's been here for a long time.
Yeah.
And she was like, I just thought I was eating enough. And I didn't know I had to fuel directly before training. And she's like, it feels like I've got another gear that I didn't even know I had.
So cool.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
So good. So that.
Yeah, I think people just think I eat. Like if you ask someone,
I eat. It's all right.
Yeah, good. I eat good. Like if you ask someone, oh, how's your nutrition? Or how's your diet? Yeah, pretty good. Like if you say how, yep, good.
Yeah, it's always the answer. Always.
Because I think if they eat some vegetables with their meat at dinner time, like it's good. And if you don't like binge on cookies and ice cream, then it's good. But that's not exactly what we're talking about here.
Yeah, definitely. And so then, before someone wants to add in more training, so more stress on the body, we want to make sure that they are eating enough and well enough and fueling correctly, which is going to help with recovery from the sessions that they're already doing before we add more shit to that pile that they just have to recover harder from.
Yep. Yeah, someone else I was speaking to from your nutrition program said first she was shocked at how much protein she needed. She was like, I cannot eat that much. Now she's like, I have to remember to eat snacks because I'm not hungry because I'm eating so much protein. So yeah, I think it's not just eating enough, it's eating enough for the right things at the right time. And it doesn't, it's a lot. Well, it's not a lot. It's once you get it, it makes sense.
Yes.
But if you're not currently eating for fuel and health, then it can feel like a big change from what you're currently doing.
Overwhelming to get that stuff started, I think, for some people. So if you haven't looked at your nutrition, then you definitely don't need to add any more training to your plate. Definitely. And I often find that people maybe with weight loss goals or like movement specific goals want to do more training rather than looking at their nutrition. Like
say that again,
so people have like weight loss goals or specific movement goals, rather than take that step back and look at their nutrition, they'll just pile on more training instead. And like maybe that will work eventually, but you're going to get to a point where your body can't recover anymore, or you're going to get injured, and we're going to have to take that backward step and look at it. So it has to be one of the first things that we look at before you start increasing your volume throughout the week, I think.
Yep. Love it. Excellent. Nutrition, stress, sleep.
Yep. Intensity. So if you're new to CrossFit or new to this gym in particular, or just come in here, good stuff to go over before you add in more stuff.
Not even new. If you've just fallen into the same routine.
Just like show up, listen to the whiteboard brief, go and chat to my friend. Yeah. And you're not getting to where you want to be. All of those things are probably why. Yeah.
And you don't need more. And you don't need different. No. We've laughed about it a million times before. Like people think that if they're not achieving their goals, that it's the programming. It's never the fucking programming. Like the amount of times I've heard over the years, it's like, yeah, I'm going to go try this gym because they do this the program doesn't matter if you're not already looking at all of those other things first. If you're not sleeping 8 hours a night, it doesn't matter if you're following Mayhem, CAP, Proven, whatever the other ones are. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. And if you're not doing the class with intention 5 to 6 days a week, doesn't matter what you follow.
It does not matter.
Zero. Matters zero.
And the more that I do it, and the more that I get kind of into it, the more that I realize that as well as an athlete myself, like with injuries and stuff the last few years, it doesn't matter as long as you can work to intensity. It doesn't matter.
No, because life doesn't go, oh, you do mayhem programming, so yep, you're sorted. I'll leave you the fuck alone. No, you're gonna get sick. You're gonna get sad. You're gonna you have to go away. Things are gonna happen. So it doesn't matter what you follow. There's always going to be roadblocks, whether it's injuries or travel or whatever. And at the end of the day, you can't do CrossFit intensely every single day for the rest of your life. So it doesn't matter if you're doing mayhem or you're doing cap. Gave mayhem a lot of plugs in this.
You really did.
Yeah. They're fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not cap, but it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, whatever you do it properly.
Do it well.
Do it as it is intended to be done.
Correctly.
Any
more rants?
else you would like to add?
I just we get to rant at each other
Yeah.
for a period of time about things that are important.
Because
it's all the stuff. Yeah, this is why we started.
we're
this
going
podcast.
again. Here we go. We're off. We're going again. Pack your lunch, kids. Here we go.
This is why we started the podcast. This is why.
So other people could hear our shit talking.
No, it's all the stuff we want to say to people in class, but we can't keep people back an hour after their session to tell them this. So if you want to hear it, at least you can in the safety of your own home.
Your car or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, that's enough ranting, I guess, for this week. What's your bright spot?
You sound angry. You're right.
I'm fine. No, I'm good. Just thinking about our next podcast when I have to be angry. No.
The nutrition course finished last week,
yes.
and it was so good. It was the biggest intake we've ever had, which is awesome. And yeah, like you were saying, so many people just made such huge improvements, all at very different levels, which I think sometimes for some people can be like, oh, she's doing all of that, but I'm only doing this. But relative to where they were, everyone implemented so many amazing changes. Ooh. And stuck with
that
them.
from your pillow?
Yeah, it must have been.
A little fluff from your pillow.
That was really, really cool.
Yeah, I looked at all the takeaways in that group, and lots of people got a lot out of it, which is very cool.
Yeah, it's my favorite. Yeah, one of my favorite things to teach, I think.
And I think you nailed it with this is all you will ever have to know. There's so much bullshit out there in the world, and so much of it is, I think, and I hope so many people are starting to realize, especially on social media, a lot of the people that are selling you programs are there not just for you, they're there to help themselves, and they're there to make money. And they were born sexy. Unfortunately, some people
it doesn't matter what they eat, they're going to look like that.
Some people have just extremely great genetics, and those people are going to try to make money out of looking good. And we're in a world, unfortunately, that people can do that very easily.
And that's so values how you look. So yeah, I just forget also how much shit there is out there, because
so much shit.
I don't look at it, so my algorithm doesn't give it to me. And then whenever we do the course, I'm like, all right, tell me all the things you currently think about nutrition because of what you've seen on social media. I'm like, oh my god,
the stuff.
So yeah, it's really cool to see people come out the other side of that with better information. So that's been
the only reason I see it is following Sports Dietitian and Jono, and they post the Q&As and the questions that come in off their Q&As about different diets and just different things that people have. There's just so much fear around good food out there in the world because of Instagram. And probably TikTok these days. Who knows?
The children are on.
Yeah, fuck. My bright spot is my little trail run with my husband last weekend.
Cute.
It was very fun. Yeah, getting into a little bit of running,
trail running.
A little bit of best running. It's just nice. It's nice to do something together that's fun without the child. It's very nice. Yep.
Doesn't happen often.
No.
Hey?
Every weekend now, hopefully.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's it.
That's all I got for you, mate.
That was fun. See?
Becky's like, and
Yeah, okay, cool. I guess we'll see you next week.
see you later.
See you, mate.
Bye.